Alright, what's up, you guys? My name is Steph. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, go watch my other videos. But today we're going to be reacting to ABBA from ABBA and Preach going on this interview with the podcast No Jumper. And basically, we're going to be looking at the part where he talks about Fresh and Fit and everything that happened with that because, stuff be going on. So let's just watch it, alright?
I think that's that.
Definitely. So, is this current feud with Fresh and Fit, is this like the biggest YouTuber on YouTuber drama that you've been involved with so far? This is kind of honestly, new ground for you?
Honestly, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, from the first video to the response, I was like, there was such a disconnect. I was just confused.
Right, because, okay, so you went on their show, and then months later, you ended up making a video about some of the stuff that was said about a certain percentage of what was discussed.
Okay, so I want to just cover that real quick. I think that caused confusion. We covered a bunch of stuff that we said on those podcasts.
Right.
Most of them were very positive. We did like 4 videos where we covered little clips of the podcast. So we did 2 podcasts. We did one during the day, me, Preach, and those 2 guys. And then we did a second one with the bimbos and then us 3, okay? I didn't remember the first podcast. Both happened the same day because the second one was like so fucking weird. Right,
being around those girls.
Yeah, and just the whole dynamic of the podcast was just so. I just left right afterwards. I was like, nah, pass, because it was just so strange. And then I ended up covering clips of that. So I post one every 2-3 weeks, and then somebody sent me the first podcast, and they're like, "Yo, you gotta check this out. Do you remember this?" And I rewatched it. I'm like, "Yo, I'm clipping this." So there's actually 4 other parts of that podcast that we're gonna cover. Some positive, some negative. We did the first one that happened to be negative from that podcast, and like, where did this come from? It's like, bro, we just covered this video the way we cover everything else. It's not that deep. So I think that's the context that people are missing. But yeah.
Do you feel like the video you made was like perhaps a little too aggressive towards them, considering that you had like been on their show and they had welcomed you into that and everything? Like, is you know, like if you were to make a video about this podcast and there was like a certain chunk of what we said that you then were like, you know, maybe a little aggressive towards me, I could see myself feeling away. But did you feel like you crossed that line?
So here's the thing. We were confrontational on those points during the podcast.
Okay.
I was confrontational to him about some stuff he said on it. So it's not like I came with a weird energy. You know what I'm saying? Even on the podcast, they were talking about, ABBA came with the smoke. Because I said, like, yo, why would you say that? And he answered, and it's cool. We moved on. Watching in hindsight, I just had new things. I can understand how they may have felt some type of way. But at the end of the day, did we hit below the belt? Did we say anything that was not on the topic, right? Did we not just attack the ideas more than anything? And I think maybe the tone might have said some people.
And that's the thing. I feel like with a lot of people these days, or is it just because like they're on the internet or whatever? I don't know what it is, but it's like people can't separate having a disagreement with something as opposed to having a disagreement with someone. Like people think that if I did, like, say I disagree with you, and you're not liking what I'm saying, that doesn't mean I don't like you. That doesn't mean I'm disrespecting you. I just disagree with what you have to say. I feel like a lot of people can't separate the two. So, just wanted to say that.
Wrong way, sure. If you want to get on that, I'm not mad at anyone. I could definitely understand how the tone, but it's also the tone that we keep with all of our videos. So it's a bit of consistency. But can I understand why they felt that type of way? Sure. But then the response was just crazy.
Right.
That's what I didn't understand.
Because they made it really...
Yup. Because they want to be over here disrespecting Preach's wife. You don't do that. You got a problem with me, stay having a problem with me. Don't involve my family. Like, you're weird for that. That's just my opinion.
Personal. And they made it really about clout and stuff, right?
You saw the response. Did it have anything to do with the original video?
I feel like I know where they're coming from, because as a creator, sometimes this can be your instinct, is like, I'm going to just come in here and start firing and just explain how I'm better than you. The audience is very, very rarely persuaded by that. The audience, at the end of the day, would rather hear you confront the ideas that are being discussed and not make it a pissing contest.
Bruv.
Right. Like, it's okay to disagree with someone, but don't be up here being disrespectful. Don't attack the person, attack the idea. Like he just said. I agree.
If I come at you and I critique you for some of your stuff, all right, your ideas, how you feel about No Jumper, how to raise a family, right, critiquing those, and then you come at me upset and you be like, your mom left you when you were a child. What the fuck does that have to do with the conversation we're having against you? You know what I'm saying?
That's the end of polite conversation.
It has nothing to do with the conversation. Now they're attacking the person just because they disagree with the person. you can disagree with someone and not hate that person, not dislike that person. You could have disagreements without it getting all personal like that.
Right,
Right,
there,
that's crazy talk. Like, why would you bring up something like, like you just wouldn't have that, and that's the same idea. If somebody doesn't come at me below the belt, I'm not even going to think about going there with people.
Right.
Whether it's friends, family, doesn't matter what it is. So for me, it was just confusion with the response. I'm like, where does this come from? And I think it just reflects in people how they deal with adversity, how they deal with a little bit of conflict. Like if somebody comes in and says something to you, how you deal with that is a reflection of who you are, because you're not comfortable. So you can't put on a facade. You can't try to button things up. You're feeling some type of way. Your real emotions are coming out in that moment. So the way I interpret that is like, okay, there's some imbalances there. There's some things you need to sort out on your own.
Yeah, because I mean, just making it about the clout and stuff instead of just having a real conversation is just not it.
And that's the thing. I'm the type of person, I love to debate. I love to just talk about my ideas. I love to speak my mind. But I'm going to do it with someone who's not going to get like offended, who's not going to sit here and be disrespectful to me. Because at the end of the day, we can disagree, but we don't have to be disrespectful or attack each other's personal lives. Because then that's not even what it's about. That's just weird. That's not what the argument's about. So why are you bringing it up? Makes no sense.
The audience is not going to relate to it, and as men, we should be better than that, I think.
That's cool. It has nothing. Listen, man. You know this. It's like you see people with large followings, people with small followings. It's not a reflection of their character. It's never a reflection of their character. So to bring that up in a conversation with grown men is like, what are you talking about? You're really going to talk? Oh, the only reason you're talking is because you have 2 million followers. How old are you?
Right.
That's like something I hear on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is a grown man, you're boasting numbers about followers in a conversation about ideas? That's crazy to me. You imagine Jordan Peterson having a conversation with journalists and be like, do you know how many Twitter followers? That sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Right? So
he loses the argument right there as soon as he starts making about that.
And they would all lose respect for him because they're like, bro, nobody. Do you think that makes you a better person because you have numbers?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I don't understand. So for me, it was just like it was clearly a lapse in judgment on their part. But it's like, where did that come from? More than anything, this is what I think about people. If you act a certain way under duress, under stress, where's that crazy response of yours coming from? And then you have to do some inner dialogue.
Yep. Inner dialogue, meaning like go within and literally reflect on yourself. Reflect on how you act, on why you act like a certain way. Because if you act a certain way, it probably has something to do with your past and you haven't addressed it yet. That's why a lot of people they be like, that's why a lot of people do shadow work, which is basically going within to basically heal yourself. And that's like more spiritual type thing, but literally it's the same idea, it's the same concept. If you're reacting a certain way that's like defensive or something like that, then that means maybe you were possibly triggered, and there's nothing wrong with being triggered, because in my opinion, if you're triggered, that shows that you still got something to work on. It's nothing to be scared or ashamed about. It just shows you have to heal something. So that's why, like, even with like some stuff, if you feel triggered, don't be like, oh, I can't watch it. I'm so triggered right now. No, hun, maybe you should sit there and watch it and then discuss with yourself why you are triggered. Why does that certain thing trigger you? Because there's got to be an underlying cause. You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't care how many times I put you in certain scenarios, there's no way you're going to come out with specific responses. Meaning, if I come to you in the street and I say, hey, Adam, you're stupid, you're not going to just start losing your mind and throwing off your pants in the street and doing all that. Because there's something there if you were to have that response, right? You would agree. You got some mental imbalance. If someone insults...
Bruh, that's true. If someone insults you and, like, you be like, oh, how dare you say... Or you, like, go crazy when there's no reason to go crazy, really, really, then that shows that maybe you felt that way about yourself. And you need to basically work on that part of yourself. Why? Like, for example, somebody says you're worthless. Oh, you're this, and that. You're nothing. And you take that literally personal. The reason why you're taking it personal is because you felt worthless before. It's because you might have regarded yourself as worthless. Why? You got to figure that out, because nobody else can help you with that. Unless you get like a therapist or something. I know I'm talking a lot, but, you know.
And you start shitting in your hand. Somebody's like, is this man imbalanced? That's how I think a lot of people need to think about themselves when they react negatively to confrontation or anything like that.
To be fair, I think that they realized that they handled it poorly because they deleted the videos and kind of offered a little bit of an apology.
I don't think that's realizing. I think there's a
But I think their fans and the fan reaction probably helped them to realize.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I don't know what goes on in people's minds. I don't know what's going on in people's hearts. So if someone says something, I'm like, cool, I can't know for sure, whatever. But I would say it's highly just as possible that they saw how bad it was for business and decided to change that up. And again, now we're still not talking about values and character. We're still talking about business. YouTube is not just business. People come on there for real personalities and authenticity. So when you come crooked, people see that and they start to, that's the genesis of this website.
What's important is, the most important thing is your intentions. It's like what he was saying right there. They probably could have deleted it. They probably would have They probably deleted it because it might look bad. It might look bad on them, which is why, I'm gonna delete this so that I can keep my fan base and people will still watch my videos. Like, you see the intention there? It's not genuine.
This whole platform is all about authentic characters who are making no money but just wanted to do cool stuff. So when you come on this phony business all the time, it's like, and especially when you talk about character and building game, which is something that's innate, that's about your personality. How are you going to teach that to somebody when you're only about numbers? You know what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of people felt like, first off, the first apology was stupid. I apologize to my fans.
Right.
Like, you say someone disrespectful to someone's wife and them, and you apologize to your fans. So already in hindsight,
That's weird. But
it was the first way they came about it. It's kind of like the baby. I don't think he's really sorry about what he said.
Oh no.
He's sorry that he's losing money maybe. And I think those two things are very different. And I think audiences can tell when those two things are different. So, for me, I don't really care that deeply. I'm not going to get involved with them anymore. I don't really want to. But as far as my perception of them, is like, you were trying to be a leader and you really didn't have what it takes. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I feel like they're really new at this, and that I could kind of imagine of myself have gotten into a similar situation in the sense of being disrespectful very early on. So I hope that they kind of learn from the experience, because I think that even their fans seem to be pretty much 100% on the same page of that's not how you go about an argument with somebody that you already ostensibly have a relationship with. Because you guys could totally still be cool after that video that you guys made, and it could have still been really good for content if you guys had just gone back and forth and talked about it, and it didn't have to be this sort of life or death thing,
I can't be cool with people who don't have integrity. That's me personally. I won't go.
This is why I love ABBA and Preach too, because I watch their videos and my morals just be aligning with them. Because not everybody has the same morals, and you don't have to. But these guys are really respectful, bro. That's why, yes, y'all should take advice from them, okay? But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like it down below, okay? And watch my other videos.